I'm just back again for a second to tell you that I wish you could smell my kitchen. Hey friends, it's Kat, the cat part of RichKat Ranch, and I recently took on a new hobby in the baking world, and that's making kolaches. If you don't know about kolaches, you're missing out. Traditionally, Richard and I load the dogs up in the car and make a little road trip about an hour and 20 minutes south of here to the town of West, Texas, between here and like Waco. And there is a world famous bakery there called the Czech Stop. And we go in, we take turns going in. One of us sits with the dogs in the car. One of us goes in and looks around. There's often a line to get in because the bakery is so well known and so popular, and for good reason. They make amazing kolaches. Kolaches are a Czech pastry, and there are savory options or sweet options. I'm going to do some of both today because I'm going to try some smoked sausage kolaches with a little bit of the dough we'll make today. So I'm going to walk you through making kolaches. I'm not a kolache expert, but the first batch I made, which is the only batch I've made so far, turned out great. So I'm so happy to share this baking experience with you. To start, we're going to need a cup of flour, 1/3 a cup of granulated sugar, and then 1 package of dry yeast. So this is, I don't know how many ounces. I know some of you may use yeast. You'd buy it in bulk. Oh my goodness, I have a spot in my eye. So I'll have it in the description how many ounces or grams this is. But the flash from the camera has blinded me to the point where I can't see the weight on the back of this package. So 1 package of active dry yeast. We're going to whisk this together. While this is whisking, I've had some milk, 1 cup of milk heating on the stove. I need that to reach a temperature of between 110 and 115 degrees. All right, so I'm heating the milk. I don't have a candy thermometer or, something more traditional that you might use for this. So to test the temperature of this milk, I'm going to put my finger in it. So that's definitely warmer than my body temperature. I think that's probably about 110 degrees. But I'm going to use the surface temp infrared thermometer on this body thermometer. And let's see what we get. 114 degrees. So let's get this off of the stove because you want your milk to be about between 110 and 115 degrees. Okay, so my milk is ready. We're going to add that to this mixture of flour, sugar, and yeast. And then we're just going to let it sit a while so that yeast can become active here in the mixture. All right, we're going to set that aside. And let's get started on the rest of the components. Okay, for the next part, we are going to melt 1/2 cup of unsalted butter. I'm just using the same pan that had the milk in it, so I didn't wash it out or wipe it out or anything. Let's get that melted. And I've already got 3 egg yolks here, good to go. I'm using duck eggs today, as always. And once we get that butter melted, we're going to mix it with some ingredients along with the egg yolks, and we'll be 1 step closer to building some kolaches. Okay, while the butter finishes melting, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of salt to these eggs. we'll get, we can now add our butter. You don't want your butter too hot because you don't want it to cook the eggs as you add it. But we're going to get the wet ingredients here mixed together. It's pretty cold in the house today, so I may have to add a little time for that first mixture with the yeast to become active enough to use it. All right, well, we're going to get this mixed around. Okay, be back in just a bit. Okay, so what we watch for is just some little bubbles in our mixture here. It's not going to look super active. It's not going to have doubled in size or anything. But the little bubbles do help you verify that it's active and ready to use. So we're going to add this egg yolk mixture to the yeast mixture. I'm convinced the dogs know when I'm making something special, because they are literally underfoot the whole time today. So let's get this all incorporated. I'll let you know now, I do have some cream cheese, a block of cream cheese sitting out. Get this mixed around for you. And we're going to slowly start adding the rest of the flour until we can get a good workable dough out of this. And it's kind of hit and miss anytime I use my duck eggs, which again, that's pretty much all I use now. That's pretty much all I've used for the last seven or 8 years, because the ducks keep me pretty stocked with eggs. And sometimes the bigger the yolk, you know, the more liquid you end up with. So you sort of play it by ear, but we'll mix flour in about a cup at a time. The recipe calls for 3 cups, but I know when I made these before, I ended up adding at least an extra cup. It might have even been more than that. Okay, so let's start that process. All right, so we're going to start adding some more flour. Here's 1 cup. This dough is really, really soft and still on the moist side once you get all your flour added. I really did have to add a lot of extra flour last time, but I think it was just because I had some extra big egg yolks. That's one thing I love about kolaches is the bread in the kolaches. It's just so soft and light. It's a perfect treat. And you can do, again, virtually any flavor you want in it. Any kind of fruit or jam or sausage. The Czech stop down in West has added a lot of savory kolache options to their menu. This to me is a great breakfast type dough. I am interested in trying a sourdough version of this sometime, just because I always have lots of sourdough starter around now. Okay, so this is already starting to get kind of stiff. And that was 2 cups. Again, the recipe calls for 3 cups. I think I did add, you know, a heaping cup of flour to that first yeast mixture, just because I knew how wet the dough had come out last time. I think I will still add a little bit more flour. You don't want the dough to feel too sticky, but it is going to be really a tacky dough. It is going to, you know, want to hold on to your fingers a little bit when you start working it with your fingers. I'm just going to add a little bit more, maybe 1/3 of a cup. Probably going to be good right there. I imagine if you have a stand mixer, you can let the stand mixer do some of this work for you. But there's something so therapeutic for me about using my hands. I don't have a stand mixer. I haven't really wanted a stand mixer, but I'm sure if I had one, I would use it. And I might try it for this dough. Okay. I think that's probably good right there. So we've got everything nicely incorporated. It's definitely tacky, but hopefully not too sticky. And it looks like it's going to be nice and smooth, which is what we're shooting for. Okay, this is about where I want it. So I actually added 2 and about 1/3 cups of flour. And we're going to get it ready now before its rising stage. Okay, so I think I've got it where I want it. Next up, we're going to do a little bit of kneading. So I'll lightly flour my surface here. I don't want a whole lot of flour now because I pretty much got it where I want it, but I don't want it stuck to my mat here since it is pretty tacky. All right, look, this turned out. It's still pretty tacky, so I don't really want it stuck to my fingers. And I'm going to knead this for just 3 or 4 minutes. Oh, it feels so soft though. It's so nice. This is akin to the stretch and fold process of my sourdough bread. It just feels so nice to be working with my hands. In spite of the fact that I do have some arthritis, and there can be a little discomfort right here on that thumb joint, mostly on my left hand, when I do anything where I have to put very much pressure on it. This hand's okay, but right now when I do that, ooh, that is not very comfortable right there. Oh yeah, this is coming together so nicely. It feels so good. It feels so nice and soft. I'm not going to put any more flour in it. And depending on how greasy your dough feels. Again, see, that's tacky to my hands, but it's not sticking to my hands, so that's exactly what we want. It feels like sweaty almost when you touch it, but it's not sticking. And it is pretty oily. It's got the butter and the milk in it. Those have nice fats in it that give it some oil. But I might spray the bowl that it's going to rise in with a little bit of cooking spray just to be sure we're not going to have problems. Get some of this flour up. Since it is a little tacky, I think it can stand to help me clean up my area here. All right, I'm sure we're at about 3.5 minutes or so of kneading. That flour that I just picked up, incorporate it into that. All right, get that kind of shaped into a ball, and I'm going to spray my bowl right quick. All right, just a light spray. And into the bowl it's going to go. I'm going to cover it and put it in a warm place, which for right now, since it's cool in the house, is going to be just sitting inside my iron skillet that's been over the vent thing on my stove. I had my stove preheating because I wanted to try and warm the kitchen up a little bit because it really is cold in here. Here's my cream cheese that's been sitting out. I'm going to move it over here now. It's already feeling kind of soft. I'll close this oven door now. Get my dirty dishes here ready to be washed. That's part of the process. Just trying to be real. And next up, we're going to talk about the fillings that I will be using today. I'm so excited about the flavors. I've got a couple of new flavors I'm going to try, so wish me luck on that. That dough is going to need to rise probably about 1.5 hours. So lots of time to get other things done, or if it's middle of the day for you like it is for me, take a lunch break, get something to eat right quick. I probably need to let the puppies out to do some business in the backyard, although I think they're asleep. So maybe, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Maybe I don't need to wake them up. But I'll be back in just a little bit, and we're going to talk about fillings. First, let me show you what I'm trying not to be distracted by today. There are our 2 foster puppies. They just arrived yesterday. They slept through all of the first part of what I've recorded today, so I'm really proud of them for that. So we'll cross our fingers that they can keep themselves entertained and out of trouble while we get this part done. Okay, so while our dough is rising, I hope it's rising. Again, it's very cool in the house today because it's very chilly outside. We're going to make the cream cheese filling that will be the base for most of the fruit kolaches. I will probably just make like one just plain cream cheese kolache. Also, Richard doesn't like cream cheese, so he doesn't get cream cheese. He only gets whatever fruit he's going to eat. But we're going to make our cream cheese base. So I'm going to start with another egg yolk, fresh from the coop this morning, or fresh from the pen, courtesy of my ducks. I don't know who might have laid that. For those who wonder, you don't have to worry when you see the little blood spot. It just means that a little capillary might have burst as the egg was, forming at some point. So it doesn't hurt anything, and these are going to be baked, so it's not a problem. To that egg yolk, we're going to add about 2.5 tablespoons of powdered sugar. And then 1 softened 8-ounce block of cream cheese. I guess I could have had this out of the package already before we started. Again, I've been distracted by these precious puppies here today. I want to get every last bit of this off of here. And we're also going to add about a teaspoon of lemon zest. So this I just zested, not quite half of a medium lemon. A small lemon is about, you can get about a teaspoon of lemon zest off of a small lemon. But since that's a medium one, I'm going to add about a half of that lemon zest because we want about a teaspoon of lemon zest. And we're just going to get this all blended. That's nice and creamy, very light. I can't taste it because it's got the raw duck egg in it. It's often not a big concern when you're working with chicken eggs, but ducks do carry a high bacterial load, natural. It's just a natural part of their flora, and so they are spreaders of salmonella. So duck eggs should not ever be eaten raw. And since, for the most part, Boone stayed out of my way, and he's been such a great babysitter already. Hey, Boone, come here. Come here. You want a lick? Come here, get a lick. Come here, get a lick. Come get it. Come get a lick. I don't know if you're in the video. I wanted everybody to see you getting a treat of cream cheese. Right now we're going to get the crumble topping. That might be my favorite part of the kolaches. So depending on what fruit flavor it is, I do have my favorites in the fruit flavors. But there's crumble topping that you like a strudel. Streusel. Like you have an apple streusel pie or peach streusel pie. So we're going to make some of that topping, that crumbly, crunchy, sweet topping. And we're going to do that with just some simple ingredients. So I'm going to use 3 tablespoons of butter. You can put really as much or as little of this as you like. Again, I just really like it. So, and let that start melting. It's been sitting out, so it should be nice and soft. I don't think it'll take very long to melt. And let's get a little bowl so we can get the dry ingredients together. Okay, I should have had everything measured out already. So my butter is melting in the glass pot here. And we're going to get the dry ingredients ready for this crumble topping. So that's 6 tablespoons of flour, 6 tablespoons of sugar. Once the butter's melted, we'll get that added and get it broken up into little crumbles. Okay, I'm just mixing the sugar and the flour. You'll see when we add the butter here, it is going to be a really dry mix. That's what we want. That's how we get it to be crunchy and crumbly for us. I'm using salted butter for this crumble topping. So if you are sticking with unsalted butter, you'll want to put a couple of pinches of salt into these dry mix ingredients as well. All right, so let's get this butter drizzled in. Just want to drizzle it in slowly. This crumble topping is so good that the pieces that fall off of the top of the kolaches after you cover them with it, you know, they fall off to the sides and they just get nice and toasty on the cookie sheet. Oh, even that's just good to eat. I mean, that would just be a great treat too. Okay, so as this sits out, especially since it's cool in the house, this is going to harden a little bit, solidify a little more as the butter cools, which is fine because then we'll just come back and break it up and it'll really be nice and dry and crumbly for us. But this is what we want for now, just these little pieces, almost like when you're making a pie dough and you look for the little crumbles. This is what we want. All right, so I'll just leave that sitting aside with my cream cheese filling, and I'll be back in a little bit when it's time to get the dough formed into the little kolache bowls that are going to be on the cookie sheet to bake. So I'll be back shortly. Okay, it's time to go and get the dough and see what it looks like. You're going to see it for the first time with me. Oh, yes. Nice and high and poofy looking. Oh, that's beautiful. So what we're going to do now is get this divided up into little pieces and then roll them into little balls that will then be formed into the kolaches. Yes, I'm glad I greased that bowl a little bit. Yeah, that's nice. Oh, that's so nice. Just have my surface floured a little bit because I don't want that to stick. And I'm not going to be too exact about it, but I got, I think, 14 little sections out of it last time. Just got a couple of other steps. I'm going to try to get this into like a rectangle so I can eyeball getting them divided into equal size pieces. We'll see how that goes. Right, I'm going to split it right down the middle lengthwise here. And last time I weighed them even to try and get them super even, but I'm just not going to do that. I'm going to eyeball it. This is not something where it has to be, they have to be exactly the same size. All right, so we'll split each of these two in half, and we'll split these in half. I'd love to have enough for 2 cookie sheets. Now, one of the cookie sheets is a little smaller. Oh, this is so pillowy, y'all. These are so pillowy. That's going to be a little too big, I think. Yes. Put those together. That's good enough. I'm going to take a little bit of some of the bigger ones to mix with these smaller ones. Oh, that's just silliness. That's just silliness right there. I don't really want to make them any smaller than that. So we're going to go with this. I've got 16 here. And I'm going to now just sort of pinch them into little balls. You see that? And then we'll roll it to try to get it into a little ball. A cookie sheet lined with parchment paper. I'll put my little rolled dough balls onto that with the little seam side down. Closer up. When I'm pinching them into the little ball shape, as I'm pulling that dough around to the seam side, I'm kind of pressing it together to seal off the seam. It's still going to have a little bit of a seam there, but my goal is to kind of press it off to close up the seam. Can you see that? And then I'll roll it. And this is working fine to have not, exactly weighed them all out to be the same size. So I'm still dividing these up a little bit more just based on how they feel in my hand. So I think I can get another 1 or 2 dough balls out of the dough that I still have left sitting here, which will give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or so that I can put on the smaller cookie sheet I'm going to use. So I'll be back again in just a minute once we've got these ready to rest and rise. All right, so from here, I'm going to just let them rise for 30 to 45 minutes. So I'm going to get them covered and let them rise. I just have them sitting here on top of the oven. My oven is preheating to 375 right now, so I'm hoping that will make it warm enough here in the kitchen for them to be able to rise. And we'll be back to check them when that time has passed. All right, we got some nice poofy kolaches ready to shape so we can get them filled. So I'm just gonna press down and create little wells in the center of each one. Hopefully you can see how that's working. Again, this dough just feels so nice and light and airy. It's almost sad to have to punch it down to make the little wells. I noticed my little smaller cookie sheet, those don't look like they puffed up as much, and I imagine it's because I cobbled those together out of the little pieces of dough from some of the bigger blobs I created. These that I have on this cookie sheet, I think these are just the right size. That way you can eat 3 or 4 of them at one time, right? If you can't settle on which flavor you want, you can just have several. Yeah, these are still nice and puffy. They're just a little smaller, I think. That's okay. All right, and now I'm going to do a little egg wash just so they'll get a nice golden shiny finish on them. Cover all of the top surface here. You don't have to drown it, but we do want it all covered. Even inside the little well. This is just 1 egg yolk and a tablespoon of milk. My little well wasn't quite deep enough there, I didn't think. And it is a little after 4 o'clock, if you're wondering what the timeline is for this. So I started these at 12:30. And then obviously there's some resting and rising phases that the dough has to go through. It's not a quick process, but it is so worth it. This is such a great treat. And these are great for gifts. These are great at holiday time. So now we're going to talk about fillings. Get this a little closer. And I'll have to figure out how I want to divide up the fillings. But the first step, aside from the ones that that we'll do for Richard because he doesn't like cream cheese, we're going to put a little cream cheese down first. This is the cream cheese that we mixed with powdered sugar and lemon zest and some egg yolks. And it just gives these like a, like a cream pie like base. It's probably about a tablespoon of cream cheese I'm putting in each of these. You can have more or less as you like. And the easiest way to do this, I think, is just to get your favorite jam or preserves. Even some fruit butters will work, but I'll show you what I've got. I had to get creative for one of them when I made these the first time. I love, again, fruit in general. I'm going to do a couple of strawberry ones. These are just strawberry preserves. So again, you can use any kind of jam or preserve. Again, that's probably about a tablespoon. We'll do 2 like this. The strawberries and the cream cheese here are really nice together. In fact, all of these fruits with the cream cheese, that's really nice together. Very cheesecake-like. Okay, there's the strawberry. We've got also kind of a classic. Got some peach preserves. If I didn't already say, my oven is preheating to 375 degrees. It should already be preheated because I turned it on when I set the kolaches over on the stove to rise because I thought it would help warm that area a little bit. Okay. Now this is a new, I haven't even opened this jar yet. Honey fig. I think that sounds good. We're gonna try. Okay, my battery died, so I'm not sure what all you got. Hopefully you got that we've got the 2 strawberries and the 2 peaches. And then I've got a new jar of honey fig. I want to try probably just one of those. I want to try one of those. And this is more like a fruit butter. This consistency is more like a fruit butter. But I'm hoping this will sort of taste, you know, fig Newton-ish. Here's where I had to get creative last time. I really wanted to try pineapple, and they make pineapple down at the Czech stop, but I couldn't find any pineapple preserves at the store. There is such a thing, or pineapple jelly. So I got this pineapple ice cream topping, and when I made them last time, it's very runny. So what I'm going to do this time, I'm going to put a little bit of this in a couple of these. And then I'm going to top it with some crushed pineapple. And we'll see if that doesn't get me more what I was shooting for. I tried to drain all the liquid out of that, and it's just a can of crushed pineapple. In and of itself, it's not real sweet, so I think that ice cream topping, because it's pretty sweet, should get us what we want. Also new, pecan. We're going to try pecan. This is just, again, a jar of pecan pie filling. So I'm going to do a couple of these. It's pretty thick. Now, so last time I just mixed a little lemon juice and, I don't remember, powdered sugar, and I just made something that was sort of the consistency of a lemon curd last time. And I am going to do this with the cream cheese. I'm going to do one more with the cream cheese. Lemon and cream cheese. Again, it'll be, I think, like a cheesecake. I might do more than one with the cream cheese. I'm going to do one of these for Richard with no cream cheese. Just the lemon curd. This is so good. Like, I could sit and eat this out of the jar just all by itself. And we'll do another one with just the lemon curd. Okay, and now I want to try. This is going to be, if I can get it on here, a lemon blueberry. So I just got creative. I didn't have blueberry jam or blueberry preserves. I just mixed some fresh blueberries with a little bit of water and some sugar and heated it in the microwave in a cup to soften the blueberries. I'm going to sprinkle some lemon zest over that one. One of these that doesn't have cream cheese, I'm going to do some pecan because, again, I know Richard likes pecan. Maybe I can get this spread a little more since there's no cream cheese in it. We'll do one like that. Oh, we'll just do, I don't think I did a lemon curd without cream cheese, did I? So we'll do a lemon curd without cream cheese because I think he'll, oh, that's what that one is, isn't it? Oh, well, so there's 2 of those. Maybe I'll do the rest of my blueberries on that one too. A little lemon zest. Put a little lemon zest on those too. We'll just do one more strawberry cream cheese because I like those.
Yeah, we'll do another honey fig. Because I want to try one, and maybe I'll take one to the neighbors. Man, that lemon curd is good. Golly gee willikers. Okay, so now, remember when we mixed together the butter and the flour and the sugar to get the crumbly topping? Now it's time to sprinkle that on. And the flavor of it, I mean, it's just, you know, butter and sugar and flour. It's not like it's going to take over the flavor of the kolache itself. And I'll tell you, I made 3 times as much of this time as I made last time, because after I baked them last time, I was wishing I'd had more of this to put on them. And now these are going to go into my preheated 350 degree oven. I don't have a flash on. I hope it's bright enough in here. For 20 to 25 minutes. So I'm going to get those put in the oven. I'll be back in just a little bit when they come out to let you know how they turned out. I'm just back again for a second to tell you that I wish you could smell my kitchen. We have like 5 minutes to go. I was just outside on the back porch with the puppies and walked in the house, and it smells amazing. So let's hope that's a good sign. Again, I'll be back in just a little bit. Okay, I think these are done. My timer showed 3 minutes left, but I just took a little peek in the oven because the smell is so amazing, and it looks like they are ready to come out. Fresh out of the oven. So I'm going to let them cool. I did take them out right after I talked about how I could smell them, because I think they're done. And they're going to continue to cook on the cookie sheet for a little bit here just while they're sitting here cooling. So we'll do a taste test here after a while when these have cooled. But I just wanted you to see how beautiful these look. Oh my goodness, look how beautiful they are. Ooh, all right, back in a little while. Okay, first things first, I totally forgot that I was going to try some sausage kolaches this time. So what a great excuse to make another batch of dough and get a little more practice with the kolaches. Second, the bottom's got a little bit done on these, but I'm going to try one of the ones that I was most excited about, and that is the lemon blueberry. I don't know how well you can see it. It is about, oh, I can tell you what time it is. No, I can't. Oh, hang on. I can pull this down, can I? No, not when I'm making a video. It's probably about 9:30. I just put the puppies to bed. They went to bed about 9:30 last night. Richard usually gets up about 4:45 in the mornings. He feeds Cabo and Delilah, and he lets the dogs out. So he let the puppies out this morning early. So they will get a potty break at 5 o'clock unless they start whining during the night, and I need to let them out sooner. Again, neither here nor there, but the point is, it's quiet, it's peaceful, there's nothing else going on, so I'm going to sit down and enjoy one of my kolaches and let you know how this lemon blueberry turned out. Yeah, that's nice. It's just the right amount of tart and sweet. And even though the bottoms of these got a little overdone, the dough of the bread above it is still very nice and soft and pillowy. I'm glad I took them out of the oven when I did. Now I realize when I told you when it was about 5 minutes to go and the house smelled so good, that's when they should have come out of the oven. And then I didn't think to just take them off of the pan right away. I think if I had taken them off of the pan right away a couple minutes later, when I did take them out of the oven, then it would have spared me the little bit, you know, darker bottoms than I wanted. But this is so fun to do. Again, I will be whipping up a batch of dough so that I can try some sausage kolaches. I won't do a whole video on that because the process will be the same, except that instead of making the little wells that you fill with the cream cheese and the fruit toppings, I'll just roll the little sausages. When I was making the little dough balls out of the dough, there'll be a little not Vienna sausage. Oh, that sounds awful. There will be a little smoky. I bought a package of beef little smokies. I'm going to try that. And then I'll just seal the dough around that and bake those. So that'll be a first for me as well. But we love little pigs in a blanket, I call it, for breakfast. I buy the crescent roll dough and just wrap the little smokies in that. But this will be an upgrade on that if these kolaches work and the little smokies in the kolaches are as good as I think they're going to be. So I hope you learned something by watching the video today. I had a fun time sharing it with you. It's been a wonderful day today. I was really, really busy, and the busy didn't stop again until just now. It's 9:30 at night, and I'm just now sitting down. A lot of other exciting things happening today at the ranch, so I'll have some other videos about that. I won't put that in here. I've already mixed so much other stuff in this video, but I thank you for hanging out with me today. If you have questions, let me know. If I don't know the answers, I'll see if I can find out what the answers are for you. And as always, be safe, be happy, be well, be blessed. I love you all, and I will see you in the next video. I'm actually going to finish now the coffee that I made this morning, like at 8 o'clock, that I have reheated about 12 times, and I still haven't been able to finish it. So I just reheated it again, and I'm having it with my kolache before I go to bed. Actually, before I watch another found footage movie, and then go to bed. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks, bye.